Islam Makhachev says Bilal Muhammad killed his plans of becoming a two-weight champion because he became the champion and they became close friends and have the same manager, so he doesn't want to move up and fight Bilal. But maybe Bilal will lose in May against Shavkat Rakhmonov. That's what Ali Abdelaziz says will be the next fight for Bilal. Probably May against Shavkat for the belt. Some guys off the UFC roster. Fighter removed Danny Roberts. Fighter removed Kyung Ho Kang, Mr. Perfect out of Korea. Fighter removed Victor Hugo. He was 14-1 in his last 15 fights, so I don't know if it was justified, but he missed weight once. Maybe they didn't like that, or maybe they just don't like him. Fighter removed Uriah Faber. Yep, no one's expecting Uriah Faber to be fighting anytime soon, so I guess he took himself out of the anti-doping testing pool. But Faber did compete a couple times last year in grappling, and he won both of those against Bibiano Fernandez and Jeff Glover. Jamahal Hill says nobody accepted his challenge that he made last year.
Hey, all that, bro. At the end of the day, bro, y'all can only talk so much before somebody, you know what I mean, start to say something back. So for all y'all that's talking all this about this fight, y'all want to speak on some fight, and we can talk money. 20 bands, pull up to the gym. Anybody that, all y'all that's talking on these posts and all of this and talking this and that, I got 20 bands. Pull up to the gym, bro. Come get paid. I know y'all broke and need it.
Nathaniel Wood says he has accepted the call. He has a fight scheduled. It didn't say who it is, but it's probably going to be March 22nd in London. There's still a lot of spots available for that card, like 7 of them. The BKFC match at Knucklemania on January 25th between Bryce Hall and Kimbo Slice Jr. is no longer happening.
I'm no longer fighting Kimbo Slice Jr. on January 25th, and you'll never believe why. Even I can't believe why. I'm not a lawyer or anything, but I don't understand how this whole situation is like, okay. Terms are already agreed, paperwork was already done, contracts already done, like everything was done. We did the whole fucking 9 yards, you know? And after all that's done, someone can just go, all right, peace. Just kidding, I'm not doing it, you know? But as of today, Kimbo Slice Jr. he doesn't exist as a person. He just doesn't respond to anybody. He ghosted Dave Feldman, the owner of BKFC. He like ghosted everybody, and the guy just doesn't exist anymore, I guess. So I couldn't fight a nobody, you know? But honestly, it's whatever. Like, I'm just totally gonna run with the narrative that Kimbo Slice Jr. is afraid of Bryce Hall. Like, that's what you guys should comment across all his platforms. Like, Kimbo Slice Jr. is afraid of TikTok dancing Bryce Hall that he pulled out January 25th. Like, but I will still be attending the fight January 25th, and I guess instead of getting punched in the face bare knuckle, I will be in the audience drinking a beer.
Kimbo Slice Jr. says that's BS, but he doesn't give an explanation why the fight isn't happening.
Yo, if y'all think I backed out of fighting Bryce Hall, y'all crazy as hell. I was gonna beat this dude up. I was gonna break his ribs. I was gonna take him into the deep ends of the fight and beat the shit out of this kid. Don't believe what the internet is saying. I was gonna break this dude up.
Card is headlined by Eddie Alvarez versus Jeremy Stevens. Alvarez has the distinction of being a former Bellator champion and a former UFC champion as well. Dark Side of the Cage premieres on Wednesday on Vice. First episode is talking about the life and death of Kimbo Slice. 7 months later and 100 Wolf tickets and not one of them pull up. Move along. Jamahal Hill will be taking on Yuri Prochazka next weekend on the main card of UFC 311. Some may say, like, you know, he should be focused on that and not this, but this is his process. This is how he's always been. He gets worked up and works himself into a frenzy and does this kind of stuff, and it works for him. Aside from the loss to Paul Craig and the loss to Alex Pereira, it's worked for him every single time. Umar Nurmagomedov said he wouldn't be surprised if Merab pulled out of his fight with Umar, but Merab hasn't had a history of pulling out of fights. But Umar did pull out of his fight with Sandhagen in 2023. Regardless, there's no indication that this fight isn't going to happen. Official poster for UFC 312, headlined by DDP versus Strickland for the middleweight title. DDP a slight favorite in that one. Co-main event, strawweight title, Weili Zhang versus Tatiana Suarez. Weili a slight favorite in that one. February 8th, Sydney, Australia. Australia government paid $16 million over the course of 4 years to have 3 pay-per-view events there. Dubai is going to be one of the cities that has a franchise in the GFL. Maybe Phoenix too, because last year Harrison Rogers committed $10 million to secure a GFL franchise in Phoenix. He's the founder of United Fight League and owner of F3 Energy Drink. Nigerian bantamweight Juliet Chukwu tells me that she's excited about the GFL. I think they're offering good opportunity and visibility and very good money for the athletes. I believe it's always best for us athletes when more leagues like this because we have more opportunities and options. They came up with a new model, a lot of advantages for us, and now it's our turn to make a success by doing great fights, which I will definitely be doing every single time. She has a record of 7-1. Kevin Lee thinks that the GFL's 50-50 revenue split model is a litmus test to see if the sport is actually a sport. If you can only pay guys 18% on the back end, that's the only thing that works in this sport. It's not really a sport. It's more of a bunch of poor guys fighting for billionaires' chump change. We're fighting for the tips. 18% is what you pay the waitress at Applebee's. Tom Lawler, who fought for the UFC and was an advocate for the antitrust lawsuit against the UFC, says historically that's exactly what prize fighting is. People fighting for billionaires' chump change, while the public also spends their change betting on it and watching it. Betting on it this week, Jacoby Smith is one of the biggest favorites over Preston Parsons. Jacoby, a future star in the sport in many people's opinions. Fatima Klein's the biggest favorite on the card against Victoria Dudakova, over 9-1. And Narulo Aliyev is a big favorite over Joe Selecki, who takes a short notice fight against Aliyev. Kevin Lee has interest in taking on Tony Ferguson in the GFL. It comes across as a little bit pathetic because Tony's a shell of a human being compared to how he was. But I could actually see it happening because I could see the UFC cutting Tony. He's lost 8 in a row, more than anybody in UFC history. I could see the GFL picking him up. I could see Kevin Lee calling him out. And I could see Tony Ferguson accepting. Randy Brown coming off a loss to Brian Battle via decision. Close decision. Could have gone either way, but it went the way of Battle. But Brown's looking to get back on that horse again and take on Jeff Neal. Would be a good fight. Neal is always an entertaining fight. Corey Anderson says it should say that Nemkov refused to fight Anderson but chose to fight Tim Johnson instead, but Nemkov fans will say he's not scared of you. Yeah, okay. Nemkov's gonna fight Johnson January 25th. He didn't want to fight Anderson, he wanted to fight Johnson. Julia Polastri training for her fight with Yasmin Yaregi on March 29th in Mexico City. How the PFL even has $5 to give to a fighter is beyond me. God knows how PFL was paying the tournament winners $1 million US when half their arena is empty and they're trying to sell tickets for $30.
You're losing the kind of money that they're losing and you're in the position that they're in. You just start throwing shit at the wall and you're trying to fight for your life. I mean, like I said, whenever the hell I said it, I mean, this guy is talking about it cannot be fun to be one of their investors. It cannot be fun.
Fresh off a win over Andre Petrosky at Fury Grappling, Pat Downey competing in this $10,000 tournament January 19th in Florida.